Hey guys, it's Brandon with Churlish Media and Rustic Lumber Store. I'm here with Zach and Justin. We're doing another episode of a Pre-Show Workbench Con Interview. And Justin, he's here, who's been to Workbench Con a couple times now. So he's just gonna tell us a little bit more about how he got started and what he's looking forward to when he comes out there this third time is it?
This will be my second time out there, actually. Second time.
All right.
Second time.
Well, tell the people a little bit more about you, Justin.
Let's see. So I started Campfire Woodworks back in 2018, 2019, something like that. I can't remember at this point anymore. It's been a while. It was supposed to be just a little hobby shop in my garage. We bought a house in Jersey, moved here from Queens, had some extra space. I was letting to buy some tools and cool around a little bit in the garage. And that's how I kind of got going with Campfire Woodworks. And it wasn't really a big deal up until the pandemic. And my office in New York City got shut down.
So that's everybody's origin story at this point.
I got back 2.5 hours of my day worth of commuting time, and that allowed me to spend a lot more time out in the shop.
Wow. Hold on. Time out. Did you say 2.5 hours of commute?
Yeah, 2.5 hours commuting. About 1 hour and 15 minutes door to door from my house to my office in Manhattan.
But how many miles was it?
15 maybe at most. I mean, like if you stand on the roof of my house where I am in Jersey, you can see New York City from my house. Like it's not that far at all.
Yeah. But yet somehow it took you oh my gosh.
In Nebraska time, 2.5 hours gets you to
Kansas City.
Yeah. you're going
a whole other state at this point.
Yeah, like from my house to Midtown Manhattan is about 15 miles. And if you were to drive that right now, you'd be lucky if you got there in an hour.
Wow, that's gross. Okay, so you got back all this time and you decided to start just woodworking again?
I got back all this time and I'm like, let me make some things. Let me start up an Etsy shop. Let me sell a few things. Maybe I could buy a few extra tools. And dude, it just snowballed. I mean, like it took off and it went from cutting boards to custom display cases to small furniture projects. And it just, and then the Instagram started growing. And since then, it's been nonstop, taking off. So it's been quite a wild ride. It's a hobby that went to a full-time side business pretty quickly.
How with your growth going so fast, like did you ever need to step into like the paid ad route, or did you just showcase just all your stuff on what was it? Did you do Instagram, TikTok, Facebook?
So Instagram has been my main source of, I guess, advertising or just being out there on social media. I built a website pretty early on, so I had that. But I knew nothing about e-commerce. I knew nothing about like running a website. I knew nothing about any of that stuff. I'm just kind of like YouTube and everything else. Like just, I became a master at Googling how to do things. And that's my main source of growth has kind of been through that. And then recently, over the last year and a half, I've been putting more and more into actual paid ads. And that's okay. Like that's accelerated the growth in it too. I'm spending a fortune a month on Etsy just doing paid ads, but it comes back to you in droves.
Do most of your sales probably come from Etsy?
About 50-50. About half of my sales last year came from Etsy. About 30% of my sales came from my direct to my website, and about 20 was like commission-based projects. So I started working with a lot of pretty big restaurant names and hotels in Manhattan. And so that's been like just business that's come through. Like, they reach out to me, they say they have a custom project for me, and that's kind of just commission work that I've been doing with them.
What's up?
Go ahead. I was just saying, what type of custom projects? Like what's been, I guess two things. What's been your bread and butter on your custom projects, and what would you say is like the most interesting one you've done so far? So
right now, my biggest client, and I don't think they'll mind me sharing this, is 11 Madison Park. So if you know anything about the New York restaurant scene, they are a 3 Michelin star restaurant that does vegan cuisine in Manhattan. They, I believe they got their first, they achieved their 3 Michelin star status in 2011, I think. So they're a pretty big staple. They're an amazing restaurant in Manhattan. And so I've been working on a lot of projects with them. And I think my favorite custom piece that I've done so far across all of like the hotel restaurant stuff has been this fondue box. It's just a wooden box that holds a rashad, which is like a little sterno kind of thing, like a little stove, and then on top of that goes a crock pot type looking thing for fondue. So that's been a really cool thing because it was a box that had to kind of withstand pretty decent amount of heat, have proper ventilation. There was a lot of getting.
Yeah, that sounds like there's a lot of
right?
science behind that. I don't know, like
That was
we haven't done that one yet.
That's a fancy sounding restaurant.
I was right. That's what I was gonna say.
Man, we have this one restaurant here in Omaha that's really nice. It's called Texas Roadhouse. That way. I mean, it's primo. I don't know if they got it in the rest of the country. You got to try their like cinnamon butter or something.
Oh my gosh. So what's been your biggest like eye opener from going from a 9-to-5er to a full-time content creator now and business owner?
Well, I'm still doing my 9-to-5, so that's been
Really? You're still doing your 9-to-5?
still doing my 9-to-5. So I'm splitting my time. I'm doing my 9-to-5 Monday through Friday here in my office, and then as soon as I hang up here, I'm in the shop probably till midnight a lot of nights. And then I pick one weekend day a week where I'm in the shop all day. So I get one day a week where I'm kind of like relaxed and family time, but it's 40 hours there and 40 hours here. This is kind of how it's been.
What is your 9-to-5 that you do?
So I work for a nonprofit environmental conservation organization called the Appalachian Mountain Club. And so my main role there is I work with, train, and manage volunteers that lead trips into the outdoors, take people out camping, canoeing, skiing, kayaking, biking, climbing, you name it. We kind of do it, and it's mostly adult programming. We also run a bunch of camps and cabins around the Northeast. So that's my main role there.
So wood is that's just part of your whole life.
Hence the name Campfire Woodworks. It was
Makes sense.
2017. I think it was 2017 was the year that I broke my record. I spent over 100 nights out in the woods that year.
Nice.
Oh, so you familiar? You just like, you know what? I know these lands, and you just touch the ground.
Is that mostly just there, New York State, that you do most of your camping? Like, what's your favorite areas that you go to there?
I bounce all around the Northeast, and then I just recently started getting into overlanding. So now I'm driving out to like Utah and Texas and Wyoming and all these places to go, off-roading and camping. But my favorite place around here that I go like is New Hampshire. I mean, I backpacked through the White starting when I was 14. And I've pretty much been up there every year since on a backpacking trip in the White Mountains in New Hampshire.
That's incredible.
It's just gorgeous.
Meanwhile, I'm like, I've never stepped foot inside camping. I'm too afraid of serial killers and bears. Never happened.
I've met them both, so.
See, and you just confirmed all my fears. I'm be like, all right, well, sorry, kids, we're not going camping this time. So with your whole, with being basically full-time, part-time woodworker and full-time, like how do you have that work balance mix mentally? And then obviously I know you said you have a 7-month-old.
Yeah, it's tough. I think it's a real separation of planning, right? So like, when I'm on my 9-to-5 and I'm working, like that's kind of like, I got to shut down everything else. Like I flip the phone over and like, I'm working 9-to-5. And then, when I schedule time for the shop, I go out in the shop, I throw my headphones on and I'm listening to podcasts, and it's just like buckle down time. Like I'm just, trying to run through projects, run through jobs as quickly as I can, get some content recorded. And then when I come inside, that's it. Like shop time is over. Yeah, with the wife and the kid, relaxing. So like it's been a real practice in kind of like time management and separating out, these different aspects of my life to make sure that I don't bleed over into everything else.
Yeah, I mean, it's super easy to do that.
It's hard. It's hard to shut off too, especially when you're building a business and having to.
For sure.
Like, it's real hard to come inside and like want to still, be on Instagram and be on my phone all the time, posting and replying to comments. But I've noticed what helps.
And everything now.
Yeah.
I was just saying, everything nowadays is now. So like,
right.
The faster you respond to whatever reason or whatever it is. Like the fact is, it's just like everything has to be now. So it's like you'll get nighttime, you get emails. You're like, oh, should I or not? But the ones that respond the quickest, make sales happen. That's it's like it's completely go time all the time.
And right now I'm stressed out because I have about 4 or 5 clients sitting in my inbox that I haven't responded to in like 2 weeks. I just got to make the time to sit down and work on that stuff because that's going to be that's part of my income. I got to make sure that I respond to those people.
Sure.
Yeah.
I would say, and speaking of that, I mean, it's all led up to where you're now. I mean, you're a content creator, and so you're going to Workbench Con. I know you said you've gone before, and this will be your second year. What was it like before, and then what are you looking forward to experiencing and seeing now?
So my first year there last year was wild. I think it'll be a lot different of an experience this year, but my first year there was a pretty wild experience, like in the best possible way, because you're there among 700-800 other people who are all in that content creator field. And like there are guys that are and girls that are on Instagram, that are on YouTube that I talk to, like we all have chat groups, and like there's all these little inner circles within like the maker community, and we're all talking to each other. But there's a lot of people that I talk to regularly that I had never seen or met personally, right? Because you guys are in Nebraska, so like Dan Dunlap and Braden from Little Bug, and all those guys, right? We talk pretty much every day. But up until that point, like I hadn't met a lot of these people. And so you walk into this place and it's like, oh God, like you're taller than I thought you were. You're shorter than I thought you were, right? And we were talking.
I'm bigger than you.
Yeah. You talk to these people for a year or two, and then you finally get to be there in person. It's like we're best friends already. So that was wild. And then on top of that, there's some folks that you've been following forever. That I like Bourbon Moth, Jason Hibbs, and these other guys that I've been watching since I first got started, right? When 2017, 2018, when I started thinking about like doing woodworking, like these were some of these content creators of people who like I looked at to like figure out like, I don't even know how to plane a piece of wood. Like, and now you're at Workbench Con with all these folks, and it's like, you've known them forever. Everyone's drinking a beer together and hanging out. And, it's pretty crazy getting to just to kind of be part of all that and meet all those folks. And then on top of it, the sessions, and I walked away from there last year kind of like inspired. Part of I throughout last year I've developed a few products and launched those products as like permanent kind of fixtures of my business. And a lot of that inspiration came from coming out of Workbench Con. Like, oh, like I can monetize other parts of my business, not just the content, not just the physical products I'm making. And so that was super inspiring there. And I think this year going into it, I know what to expect. I know it was going to be there. So like, I'm kind of going in this year with a plan. Like I know what sessions I want to hit. I know what people I want to talk to. I know what brands I want to kind of make a connection with. I made a lot of really cool connections with brands last year, but I didn't know that was part of the process of Workbench Con that first year. So this year I'm going in knowing like, all right, I know the 3 brands that I want to talk to, that I want to try and make a deal with. Let's see if I can make some content with them. Like it's a lot different this year, I think, going into it.
So what is it you're looking on someone attending it? What is it with the brands or the exhibitors there that you personally are looking for? Or I mean, what's making you want to decide? Are you just going around to everyone just networking, or there's specific people that or brands that you follow that you're or what's your, I guess, plans that you're wanting to get out of the networking side with the exhibitors?
So, I mean, one of it just networking, just putting my name on the radar for some of these people. I think a lot of the brands that I already like, I already talked to like, companies like Blocker and Onefinity regularly. And like, I'm not looking to be sponsored or anything by them, but like, it's nice just to kind of, talk to them face to face once in a while. Like I have a Onefinity CNC, I talk to the folks over there regularly, and I'm just like, hey, I post and I tag them, and there's no real expectation. I don't think that I'm not looking to get a free machine out of them or anything like that. So there's that. There's just the kind of face to face, like, hey, we post regularly and share content regularly. I just, want to hang out, just,
Yeah. So you think just the person
a little bit, and then there's brands like I'd love to find a brands to make a bigger connection with, and have them kind of like a permanent part of my Instagram. For a while, like with Starbond, they were sharing my content regularly. Their marketing has kind of changed a little bit over the last year or so, but like that's been a brand that like I know like I can reach out to, and we can talk about product, or they'll share a post that I tag them in. If they have new stuff coming out, like I'm always like first to try it out. So I'd love to find another brand that I can work with, just be kind of their main go-to at some point.
Right.
Yeah. So companies going there, it's to you, it's definitely beneficial being able to build that personal networking relationship with them. Because there's not very many companies I mean, there is, but it's not like a trade show where you're going to have like 300 vendors there. So maybe 40-ish vendors are there, like, yeah, you find that very beneficial that the ones that spend the money to go there, that means something to you, that they want to, meet you in person and, discuss stuff with you, that it's not like a typical trade show where you're just walking around and grabbing brochures.
And it's a super small world, right? Like, everyone who's going to Workbench Con for the most part, like who has, I don't know, say over 10,000 Instagram followers or 10,000 YouTube subscribers, it's a small group of people, right? Like I know there's like 700 folks going, but a lot of those people, even though they're interested in content creating, they might not be part of that community like yet, and no one might know who they are, but there's a small group of people, like everyone knows who everyone is that goes to Workbench Con for the most part. And so like, it's nice being there in person to talk to the brands that you are regularly tagging in your posts, that you're regularly talking about, the things you use. And like, I'm really picky about those things. Like if you go into my Instagram and like scroll through all my videos and all my content, you will very, very rarely see me directly pitch a product or a brand, because I won't do it unless I actually use it in my shop. Like I've had a lot of people come out and reach out to me like, hey, you want to try like our boots, or you want to try our hats, or whatever the product is, or the shake your content, the shake your contour tracer thing that like everyone gets those messages pretty much every month. And that's the stuff like I'll say thanks for the offer, but like I won't take that kind of product or make those kind of deals unless I know it's something that I'm going to use every single day in my shop, and it's going to be part of something that like I really trust. So even when
we kind of follow the same. Yeah, we follow the same rule of like, especially since I'm just content creation in general. I'm like, look, yeah, it'd be nice just somebody's like, hey, we'll pay you X amount of money to talk about this, but it's like that's cool and all, but we care about our reputation and we care about our audience. We don't want our audience to buy something and spend their hard-earned money on a product that may be shoddy. And so it's definitely a lot of respect for somebody who says like, hey, nah, I'm super picky. Like we're not just gonna, if you see me push it, that means I believe in it, which is something that's really awesome. Cool, man. Well, you know what? It's going to be exciting for us to be able to meet and see everybody, and being able to this is going to be our first time going out there. And so as a brand, getting to meet all the other content creators, it's going to be awesome to see them and be able to just talk and just chat and be able to explain more.
It's a super informal, I mean, while there's the presentations and the workshops and things, and it's like, that's the formal part of it. It is really, despite how big it is, it's a pretty informal event. And I find that like, I'll be flying in Wednesday, so I'll be there Wednesday night and Thursday night. And, you can go down to the bar during happy hour, and pretty much the who's who of the content world will be down there. And everyone just kind of hangs out and has fun. And it's fun seeing the personalities you see on the screen kind of come to life.
Right.
Because for the most part, we're all ourselves, like what you see on cameras is,
of course,
is me, in real life. And so it's kind of fun to see all these big personalities come to life. So instead of being on your phone, they're right in front of you. It's pretty cool.
That's awesome. Well, man, I can't wait to actually sit down with you at Workbench Con and just kind of talk more about just your content creation process and just where you plan on going in the future. So we'll have to see you out there. I want to say next couple weeks, man. So
I think 3 weeks.
Yeah. Thanks for sitting down with us, Justin.